The story begins in Kamakura, 1333, where our main protagonist Hojo Tokiyuki lives. Some men come running after Tokiyuki and tells him that he has to go to archery practice. Tokiyuki ignores them and starts causing trouble. Meanwhile, some noblemen are very angry with Tokiyuki because they're trying to send off Takauji. Suddenly, some people are gathered in the streets to welcome Ashikaga Takauji and his army, the mightiest warriors and protectors of Kamakura. Among them was a boy named Hojo Tokiyuki. Takauji recognized him and remarked on Tokiyuki's skill in playing hide-and-seek, as usual. Takauji explained that he was heading to Kyoto to prevent Go-Daigo, the former emperor, from making suspicious moves out of loyalty to the Hojo clan. Tokiyuki replied that everyone trusted Takauji. As Takauji left, Kyoko approached Tokiyuki and advised him not to speak so warmly to Takauji. She reminded him that Tokiyuki, as the heir to the Hojo clan, would one day lead the shogunate, and Takauji would be his subordinate. Also, Kyoko says she plans to have Tokiyuki marry her. Ignoring her, Tokiyuki saw his archery masters searching for him and dodged them and Kyoko both before escaping into town. Vassals commented that Tokiyuki wasn't a warrior like Takauji. Her father told Kyoko that Tokiyuki, like his father Hojo Takatoki, would be a puppet ruler with advisors holding real power. Kyoko replied she only cared for the Hojo clan's prosperity. Tokiyuki ran through town, passing two warriors praising Takauji's skills. The narrator noted the boy seemed weak-willed and unfit as a warrior, with no expectations from others. He climbed a tree and overheard his masters calling him lazy and a bad example. Looking over Kamakura, Tokiyuki thought a mere puppet ruler didn't need power or honor, just a simple life. He believed the shogunate would be fine with loyal warriors like Takauji around, and even if he is lazy or a coward doesn't matter. A girl walks up to the tree and tells Tokiyuki that her dad believes his fear and laziness are just parts of a monster inside him. Suddenly, a guy appears behind Tokiyuki. He introduces himself as Suwa Yorishige, a priest from Shinano province, who came to pray for Kamakura's safety. He claims he's been in the tree's top all along, because he foresaw Tokiyuki hiding there. Yorishige has the ability to see into the future. He introduces the girl as Shizuku, a shrine made helping him. Tokiyuki doubts him, so Yorishige shows his future-seeing skills and looks into Tokiyuki's future. He knows what will happen to Tokiyuki in the future. Yorishige makes fun of Tokiyuki about it, and Tokiyuki shouts at him. This makes Yorishige want to tell Tokiyuki what will happen to him in 2 years. Yorishige says Tokiyuki will be the first to pay for his treatment. Tokiyuki will become a great hero. Some will fear and others will admire him. Also, Yorishige says Tokiyuki will change his country's destiny and future. Before he says more, Tokiyuki leaves, though secretly liking being called a hero. Later, playing ball, Tokiyuki tells his half-brother Hojo Kunitoki about meeting Suwa Yorishige. Kunitoki says their dad is sick and Tokiyuki will likely be named heir soon. Even though he's the elder son, Kunitoki doesn't want to inherit because it's controversial for a concubine's child to succeed. He agrees with Yorishige that Tokiyuki's skill at avoiding things might make him a hero someday. Meanwhile, we switch to Takauji and his men. Takauji tells everyone they're going to attack Kyoto to stop the former emperor's rebellion. But before that, Takauji kills one of his own men, making the others scared. Soon after, news spreads of Takauji's betrayal. It's reported that he killed the soldiers they sent to Kyoto. Many samurai gather around Takauji upon hearing this news. They say the Nida army is getting stronger, and Takauji is becoming a hero. Takauji's eldest son, Senjuo, is handed over to Yashisada Nida and becomes a general in their army. They also say the Nida army is planning to attack Kamakura next. Some time passes. Then, we see several dead bodies, including Kyoko and her father. After that, we see title cards and scenes. The narrator says that for Takayuki to become a hero, he had to lose everything. They give more details about Kamakura and his current situation, and we learn that 800 members of the Haja clan committed suicide. As Tokiyuki looks at his father, and the warriors' bodies sadly, Yorishige and Shizuku come to him, and says he can find safety at the priest's place in Shinano, as his father commanded, with an escape route ready. But Tokiyuki hesitates, thinking he should be killed like the others. Yorishige tries to convince him by predicting his future, but can only see vague outcomes. They go outside, and see Kamakura being attacked by rebels. Watching the chaos, Tokiyuki shares his doubts about Yorishige and his hope to restore the shogunate, saying he'd rather die honorably with the others. In response, Yorishige pushes him off the cliff, shouting to the rebels that Tokiyuki is a Hojo. But Tokiyuki dodges all attackers, jumping on rocks and branches, and returns to Yorishige on the cliff. Yorishige tells him his strong survival instinct is where his heroism lies. Enemy warriors shoot arrows but miss them. Tokiyuki shows his elusive skills again. Then, Tokiyuki, Yorishige, and Shizuku escape on horseback. Yorishige says Tokiyuki and Takauji are heroes with different destinies. But Yorishige knows Tokiyuki can't win with his current strategies alone. So, Yorishige says he'll assist Tokiyuki in gathering supporters, and offers Tokiyuki allies, strength, and wisdom to defeat Takauji, who wants him dead, saying he must survive until then. Tokiyuki asks why they are helping him. Yorishige says he'll know when he retakes Kamakura. Tokiyuki thanks Yorishige for believing in him and giving him a will to live as they head towards Shinano. On their way to Shinano, they couldn't leave Kamakura because all the exits were heavily guarded. So, Tokiyuki, Yorishige, and Shizuku had to stay in an old house for many days. While Tokiyuki was asleep, Yorishige tried to kiss him on the cheek, but Tokiyuki jumped onto a beam to avoid it, surprising the others. Tokiyuki was worried about how they'd get to Shinano, but Shizuku said they could pretend to be refugees from a shrine fire, thanks to their outfits. Yorishige comforted him by saying that he couldn't see Tokiyuki dying in his visions. Looking through the windows, Tokiyuki saw banners of former Hojo clan members' subordinates. He realized Takauji's kindness was just a cover for his plan to destroy the shogunate. Tokiyuki asked the priest, will he able to take back Kamakura just because of running abilities? Yorishige says of course. I have seen the future, where you are hero. But for now, let's play a board game. Tokiyuki started doubting if he could trust those helping him, especially as he saw them enjoying a futuristic board game made by Yorishige. Then Tokiyuki runs towards a nearby village. Just then, he overheard two people outside, discussing his brother Kunitoki's death. Tokiyuki rushed out to ask them what happened, as he had heard Kunitoki escaped with their uncle Godain Munshige. They told him Godain betrayed Kunitoki's hiding place to the Nida clan, who then killed Kunitoki. Godain hoped for a reward, but got nothing, and the Nida clan scorned and drove him away empty-handed. As the two left, Tokiyuki felt overwhelmed with despair and vomited, his mind racing with thoughts of Takauji's betrayal, the disloyalty of the Hojo clan, and Godain's betrayal. He concluded he couldn't trust anyone anymore. Yorishige appeared and tried calming him with holy light, but it only made Tokiyuki angrier. The priest then tells Tokiyuki about a future he foresaw, where Godain would be surrounded by soldiers, unable to act, urging Tokiyuki to join him for revenge and power. Meanwhile, Godain thought turning over Kunitoki wasn't enough, since he was a mistress's child. He decided to hunt Tokiyuki, believing capturing him would earn him recognition. Godain remembered Tokiyuki fled with Yorishige and guessed they were still in Kamakura, his birthplace, where he knew many hiding spots. Yorishige tells Tokiyuki that revenge for his brother's death against his uncle would be the first step towards taking back Kamakura. Priest then introduces Tokiyuki to his allies, Ayako and Kojiro, who will serve under him and will become Tokiyuki's arms and legs. Meeting Tokiyuki on a hill, Godain asked if he was alone, suggesting they leave Kamakura together. Tokiyuki demanded why Godain betrayed Kunitoki, just as Ayako and Kojiro attacked. Godain blocked their strikes and praised Tokiyuki, explaining he protected Kunitoki not for status or blood, but for his warrior skills. As Godain approached Tokiyuki to strike, the narrator says that Tokiyuki's life now depends upon a game of hide-and-seek from the demon. Godain hits Tokiyuki, but he dodges narrowly. Godain asks him why he's struggling when facing his brother's enemy. Kojiro steps in and warns Godain to back off from Tokiyuki, but Godain still manages to land a blow. Ayako tries to defend Tokiyuki, but gets hit herself. Kojiro and Ayako realizes Godain is too strong, and because they have to protect Tokiyuki and themselves, they can't attack him effectively. Godain thinks about Yorishige's plan and doubts its effectiveness. Ayako and Kojiro are strong, but they're up against an adult. Even with 3 against 1, their ability to adapt quickly isn't enough. Godain tells Tokiyuki not to make things worse, and hints at betraying Kunitoki in the past, revealing he's the former heir. Meanwhile, Yorishige calls Kojiro and Ayako to stay by his side. They argue they must protect Tokiyuki, but Yorishige tells them to watch the battle closely and learn from Tokiyuki's adaptability. They're amazed to see Tokiyuki dodge attacks effortlessly and even appear happy doing it. Ayako mentions those skills can't just be from training. Yorishige explains Tokiyuki isn't a coward. He enjoys finding ways out of tough spots. These skills might not matter in daily life, but are crucial in battle. Yorishige asks if they want to serve Tokiyuki, and Shizuku, Kojiro, and Ayako agree. Yorishige tells them to jump back into the fight and not worry about defending Tokiyuki because he can handle it alone. Ayako and Kojiro rejoin the battle. Godayan is frustrated that he can't hit Tokiyuki. Suddenly, Kojiro and Ayako strike Godayan from behind and pledge to serve him, allowing Tokiyuki to finish him off. They manage to hold Godayan down, urging Tokiyuki to take his chance. Tokiyuki approaches Godayan, thinking of his brother, father, and the people of Kamakura. He declares that while Godayan's life isn't enough, he hopes to be of service to them for now, as he beheads Godayan. After the battle, the group continues their journey towards Shinano. Yorishige asks Tokiyuki how he feels about defeating his first enemy. Tokiyuki says he was just dodging attacks until he saw his enemy's neck, and thanks Kojiro and Ayako for their help. Yorishige tells him that winning the battle gave him experience, and as long as he keeps his pride, as the last survivor of the Hojo clan, he can defeat any enemy. Tokiyuki is happy and promises to return to Kamakura one day to defeat Takauji and the Ashikaga clan. He throws his katana as a pledge. Yorishige tells him he's proud and saw the future in that moment, but worries throwing the katana might cause a problem. Just then, a wolf approaches Tokiyuki, so he runs away. The group watches him runs away and wonders if he's just a coward. The next day, Tokiyuki woke up and found himself stuck in a hole. Yorishige was there and greeted him. Tokiyuki told Yorishige that he was upset about how he and others treated him somewhere. He was also mad that Yorishige put him in the hole. Yorishige explained why he did it and then helped Tokiyuki out. They were at the Suwa Grand Shrine. Yorishige said he wanted to train Tokiyuki in martial arts and studies, but Tokiyuki wasn't interested and tried to run off. Sadly, he fell into another hole. Shizuku saw Tokiyuki in the new hole. She tells him that father is always like that and advised him to give Yorishige a chance. Days passed and Tokiyuki still can't believe how Yorishige will help him liberate Kamakura and become stronger. Because of this, he tries to escape from there several times. Yorishige overheard Ayako, Kojiro, and Shizuku talking about Tokiyuki, saying that Tokiyuki is still trying to escape from here. He was supposed to be the next heir of Kamakura, so maybe he's a spoiled kid. Yorishige defended Tokiyuki as an honest person, saying his lack of motivation was due to his upbringing, as Tokiyuki is supposed to be a puppet ruler who doesn't have any goals. That's why he doesn't focus much on practice and studies. Also, Yorishige wanted to prove to Tokiyuki that he could help him achieve his goals. Later, Yorishige found Tokiyuki in the forest, who still looks dissatisfied. Yorishige claims to be a true god and demonstrates his divine powers to Tokiyuki. He starts dancing to clear the skies, causing the rain to stop and the water to flow back. As Yorishige cleared the skies, he gathered a big group of people who started chanting, surprising Tokiyuki. Yorishige explained they were warriors from the Suwa sect, who believed in Suwa Myojin. Yorishige tells Tokiyuki that many people really trust him. He tells Tokiyuki that he has a god and a 10,000-man army on his side. He says if Tokiyuki starts believing in him, more people will support him. Tokiyuki agrees and says he'll go study at his desk, which makes Yorishige happy. Then, Yorishige tells everyone to leave, and Tokiyuki realizes Yorishige tricked him. Later, they meet up with Ayako, Kojiro, and Shizuku somewhere else. Yorishige tells Tokiyuki to gather followers, as his family is killed, so he must gather some retainers to support him. He explains to Tokiyuki what followers are and why they're important. Yorishige reminds Tokiyuki about the skills of Shizuku, Kojiro, and Ayako, hoping Tokiyuki will bond closely with them. As in future, they will stand beside him. Why Yorishige is sure Tokiyuki will gain more allies in the future. Kojiro asks Tokiyuki what they should do next. Tokiyuki suggests playing tag, But Ayako and Kojiro aren't interested. The four struggle to come up with a plan. So Ayako suggests they should go on hunting. Tokiyuki was confused and asks, is it allowed to hunt near temples? Shizuku tells Tokiyuki they're allowed to hunt animals. They tries to hunt a rabbit in the forest, but it runs away. Suddenly, an ox demon appears and kills the rabbit. Tokiyuki and his friends tried to fight the ox demon, but it was too strong, so they ran away. After escaping, Shizuku told everyone that we can defeat Ox Demon. As now we also has Lord Tokiyuki with us, she had a plan. After hearing Shizuku's plan, Tokiyuki wasn't happy because he had to lure the Ox Demon alone somewhere. Despite this, they went ahead with the plan. Even after complaining, Tokiyuki easily able to dodge Ox Demon's attacks and able to lure the Ox Demon towards Kojiro and Ayako, who had set a trap ready for the demon. Then finally, with their teamwork, they're able to defeat the Ox Demon. To celebrate, they went to a hot springs. While they were bathing in the hot spring, Ayako, Shizuku, and Kojiro discussed what to call their group. After many suggestions, everyone agreed on Ayako's idea of calling themselves the Elusive Warriors. Tokiyuki hoped they could all get stronger together. Later, the Elusive Warriors, excited to eat the demon, they hunt earlier, only to find out that Yorishige had already eaten it. They argued with Yorishige, and then we saw a group of men killing a bird with an arrow and saying that Yorishige is scheming something. Then we see Takauji visiting Emperor Go-Daigo. The emperor praises Takauji for his actions in Kamakura and gives him a character from his own name as a mark of honor. He thanks Takauji for helping him to gain control of the country and offers him a new position in the imperial court. Takauji responds by asking Go-Daigo to appoint his loyal retainers to these court positions instead of himself. Later, Takauji's attendant, Morineo, helps him get dressed and expresses concern that Takauji is losing his sense of humanity. Takauji tells Morineo to focus on supporting Emperor Go-Daigo. We get a brief look at Takauji's eye and see that it seems to have several smaller eyes inside it, looking creepy. While hunting a boar, one of Takauji's men thanks him for recommending him as the governor of Shinano. Takauji acknowledges that this man was the first to betray Tokiyuki's family and later became his retainer. At the same time, Takauji is aware that Yorishige is still helping Tokiyuki. He instructs his ally, Sadamune, to keep an eye on Yorishige and eliminate them all if necessary. The scene then shifts to Tokiyuki, Yorishige, and their group. Tokiyuki struggles to cut down a tree, and Yorishige warns him that focusing too much on physical strength could reduce his unique elusive abilities. Tokiyuki then impresses everyone with his superb archery skills, showcasing his exceptional talent. Tokiyuki shares his archery experience with the group. Yorishige suggests that should they use Tokiyuki's skills to attack while staying safe. Then suddenly, someone from the village tells Yorishige and the others that Sadamune has arrived. Yorishige tells Tokiyuki, Shizuku, and the others to go to the nearby old house to hide, while he talks to Sadamune. Sadamune tells Yorishige about his new position and orders that Yorishige and the Suwa people must follow him. He says that he will come back later to discuss his plans for Suwa. In the meantime, Sadamune asks if there are any members of Tokiyuki's clan or important retainers staying with Yorishige, and if so, they must be handed over. Sadamune uses his sharp eyesight to check the area. He notices some people watching him from a distance, including some suspicious children. Although he doesn't know what Tokiyuki looks like, he shoots an arrow at one of the shrine maidens and then leaves. Later, Shizuku meets up with Yorishige and Ayako at Yorishige's home. Yorishige tells the girls that Sadamune is a very skilled archer and asks Tokiyuki about his opinion regarding Sadamune. Tokiyuki thinks that Sadamune is disgraceful, but admits that his archery skills are very impressive. This gives Yorishige an idea. He tells Tokiyuki about Sadamune's plans and wants Tokiyuki to watch Sadamune's archery closely, knowing that Sadamune will come back here to cause trouble at the Suwa Grand Shrine. Tokiyuki likes this plan. Then Sadamune's assistant, Sukafusa, talks to Sadamune about a dog shooting event at the Suwa Grand Shrine. Sadamune wants to win the competition, believing it will help him achieve his goals. Then, the day of the competition arrives, and Shizuku compliments Tokiyuki, while Yorishige reminds Shizuku to use a false name for Tokiyuki when everyone is around. Shizuku calls Tokiyuki Big Brother and goes to Ayako. Koshiro then informs everyone that Sadamian has unexpectedly joined the dog shooting competition. Sadamian tells the Suwa people that dog shooting is a major event for Shinano, and he wants to liven up the competition as the governor of this territory. The competition starts, and Sadamian shows off his impressive shooting skills and easily targets the dogs with arrows. The Suwa residents are unhappy that an outsider is doing so well. Then, Sadamian proposes a bet. If he wins, he will be allowed to search the Suwa Grand Shrine's residents' homes for Hojo clan members. Urashige agrees to the bet, but adds his own condition. If Urashige wins, Sadamian won't be allowed to search their territory. Urashige says that Tokiyuki, who is using the name Chujumaru, will face Sadamian. Urashige adds more rules to their match. Everyone is surprised by Urashige's decision, but Urashige tells them to trust him. Tokiyuki agrees to the duel and soon begins fighting Sadamian. As they battle, Tokiyuki remembers some useful tips from Urashige about shooting dogs. He uses these tips to score points and dodge Sadamian's arrows. This frustrates Sadamian, who is left with only one arrow. A person from Suwa, named Moritaka, comments on the fight between Tokiyuki and Sadamian. The narrator then describes Sadamian's impressive martial arts skills. Sadamian knows Tokiyuki's strategy and is confident that Tokiyuki will make a mistake. He manages to shoot Tokiyuki in the head, earning 4 points. After that, Sadamian plays around with Tokiyuki as Tokiyuki checks his bleeding head. Tokiyuki admits he's scared, but he finds the situation exciting and fun. If you like this video, please subscribe my YouTube channel.